In 2012, this was valued at 270,000 Jamaican dollars. By this I mean the container, not my husband standing on top of the container, alright? So let's get into today's video. The value of the container then versus now, what we did to the container then versus now, the actual cost of moving the container, and why we moved the container to this current location where we are building our dream house. So this $270,000 back in 2012, it included a $14,000 delivery fee. That's from a company near to the wharf in downtown Kingston to about 50 or so kilometers outside of Kingston. That container would stay at that location where it was delivered for 10 years until 2022 when we got ready to build our dream house. It was used then as a computer lab, and a section of it was used as an office for his non-profit organization. He did that for a while, then life happened, that business closed, he relocated and moved on to greener pastures. Then we got married and we purchased this property which you're seeing here as the container is being tugged from side to side by the crane. Yes, we purchased that property and decided to use it for storage, which is why you're seeing the crane putting it up on these 6 dumps, which we'll tell you about later on. So the rough cost for a shed, instead of a container, the rough cost for a shed was about $250,000, including labor and materials. A carpenter told us that just give about 80 grand and make a shed for you. That shed would not be able to hold our steel, so we'd be leaving the most expensive item in this build outside. No way. Plus it would take time to build this shed, and in this country time is money. Right now you're seeing my husband on top of the container after it landed. It was a big deal. He's sweeping the top of the container. Don't ask me why. So since we had the container already and it could hold everything that we needed in large quantities, irrespective of length, we figured, why not take it down to the land and use it instead of the shed? Important to note is that this container, as you can see right now, it was already fitted for electricity. It was being used as a computer lab, so you'll see some different sections, you'll see plugs and sockets and so on. It had everything in it, like a panel box, pot head, 13 plugs, switches, and so on. It was a functioning office and business tool. So we got to checking on the cost of moving the container. Where the container was initially is just about 10 or less kilometers from where we are building, but the person told us that it would be $175,000 to move it. That included the cost of a flatbed and a crane to take it from its previous location to the land and put it on the stands. We checked around, we got another team to move it. Both individuals, the owner of a lowboy instead of a flatbed, because the flatbed turned out to be too high anyways, and crane operator. And the lowboy cost us $35,000, and the crane, after some bargaining from $80,000, cost us $70,000. 2 men came along with the crane. I think I wasn't there, but they helped out in the process, and I don't know, say them gonna ask a little thing, so we give them a little thing, $1,000. So the total cost of moving the container was $107,000. My father built the 6 ton that you saw the container being placed on earlier. Hubby and the passerby helped out, of course, so that was at no cost to us, except for I think $3,000 for the passerby. We had to buy, as well as the fact that we had to buy some blocks. We had to buy 24 blocks, 3 bags of cement, 1 yard of all-purpose sand, 1 yard gravel. We also bought a fork, bucket, and a shovel, and the total cost for those items, $21,590. We got steel from our neighbors. We didn't steal them, we got them from our neighbors who were also in the process of building in the area. So the total cost of everything concerning the container was 128,600 Jamaican dollars. So you don't know, that means we saved approximately 121,400 Jamaican dollars by avoiding building a shed. That's big savings in the building process. Massive savings. It might not look like a lot, but trust me, it is a lot. So the day we brought the container to the land, we found out from the men that the going price for a container right now, a 40-foot container, is about $1 million or more. We also found out that because the electrical work was done inside and it was divided into an office, had an area where you could use as for cashier or whatever it is that you want to use it for, it could go for 1.2 or more. Depends on our ability to bargain with whoever wants to purchase it. So look at that. We were standing on gold and we didn't know. And we checked online and we saw a 20-foot container going for, I think, 800 or so $1,000. Yes. And an old damaged 40-foot container for over $1 million Jamaican dollars. Look at that. Ours is in excellent condition because it was painted and primed and it was kept in good condition. Remember, we were using it as an office and we had plans for it, office plans and all these things. So we kept it in good condition. So we had an asset on our hand and we didn't know. So currently we are using that container to store the steel, finding wire, leftover cement, just less than a bag of cement. Some office items like desk and chair, as you saw earlier. It's where the workmen hide from the sun because they ask if the sun after that place, you. And then when we stop by, we also hide from the sun there. It's where they get dressed, leave their clothes and thing. That's where some mattings were kept, as well as the columns, L columns and other columns, while the steelwork was ongoing. And as you saw earlier, the steelwork bending contraption, I can't remember what it's called. Another thing that is gold in Jamaica is electricity. It is so expensive. But anyhow, the container turned out to be useful with that too, because our meter has now been attached to the container. Of course, it was mounted on a board and everything like that. The electrician came in, and remember earlier I said that it was already set up for electricity because we were operating a computer lab from it. Well, as it turned out, they had to disconnect some of those lights and plugs and so on, because the more of those present in the container, the more processes, electrical processes, the electrician will have to undergo, and it will also cost more when the inspector comes. So some of those things had to be disconnected, cut, and all of those things. So they did all of that and attached everything else, like the potted and so on, to the container or under the container. So it turned out to be useful in this case as well. So after our electrician came and did her thing, we contacted the inspector from the Government Electrical Inspectorate, which is at 14 Parkington Plaza in Halfway Tree, and we booked our inspection date. He came and he did his thing, and thanks be to God, he passed it and we got our compliance certificate, which gives us the okay to request from JPS about 3 months temporary service. So using the JPS app, we signed up the relevant forms, sent in our letter of possession from our vendor, showing proof of ownership from the vendor's attorney, that we would have gotten at the end of the purchase process for the land. We wrote a short one-liner saying we want electricity at the specified address, submitted a driver's license with ID and TRN for the applicant, who is my husband. We also got a JPS letter from our vendor's attorney instructing JPS that we are now the owners of the property, so remove the former owner's name, give us our own account, and the compliance certificate, which we got from our inspector. We also attached that, uploaded it, and boom! We have since received confirmation that our application has been processed, and in 5 business days, we will be getting light. Let there be light, and there shall be light. All right, so that process took us under a week. That process cost us $26,000 for the electrician. She's a family friend, and to purchase the items needed for the electrical process, and the inspector cost us $35,000. Next on the agenda is water. You don't know water is life, and you don't know water is necessary for the construction process. So my husband, he's the one who is able to do these things more than I am. His schedule is more flexible than mine. So he went about getting the water. All that required from us, because we were not using NWC, we just had to pay our connection fee of $3,500. The order was made to connect our property to their system. The technician came, and as you can see, he's right there doing his thing. The hubby and the builder and others helped out in the process. It's such a beautiful thing when men can work together, when we can work together for good. Everything gets done faster. On our side, we bought 3 lengths of pipe, a pipe cock, a 100-foot hose, elbow, tangent, and some other items to ensure that water was off the road and onto the property and away from public use. We understand the temptation might be great, but we did not want to tempt anyone to help us to use the water. You understand? Because the cost of paying for that temptation is great. Quite great. You know, nothing is cheap in Jamaica. So, to assist anybody who might be tempted, we took away that temptation by putting the pipe, by moving the pipe, running the pipe from the road inside the container, attached a pipe cock to that, and to that pipe cock we attached the 100 feet hose, so the workmen can use water whenever they're ready, and when they're done they can always lock up the hose and everything back inside the container, safe and secured and outside of the realm of temptation. So now the men can clean up after work, have some water to drink if they choose, run a boat if they want to, all of these nice things, because water is now on the property. Overall, the cost to have the water sorted out was 18,100 Jamaican dollars. Now, we didn't have to bring the water off the road. It could have just stayed there. We just put the pipe there and connected the hose from there. Perhaps you could have put a lock on it and all of those things, but we prefer it the other way. So I guess we took on an extra cost that wasn't really absolutely necessary, but to us it was worth it. That entire process took us 3 business days. So it wasn't very long, and I know it's because it wasn't through NWC. So that goes to show that there are huge benefits to be had from using a container in the building process. In the process of building your dream house. Now, we got our container 10 years ago, so we didn't have to acquire a container now, so that saved us $1 million. We wouldn't go out buying a container now. It wouldn't be worth it, because that would be a house money that right now. So we wouldn't buy a container now. But if you have a container, or you know somebody who is willing to loan you their container, then you can use it wisely and use it properly in the process of building your dream house. So we are at the end of another video, and I want to thank you so much for sticking around and for coming back to the channel, where the aim is to educate, motivate, inspire you as you consider building your dream house, go through the process of building your dream house, talk about it, just to give you some information, to let you know what is happening out there in the world of construction. So enjoy the rest of the video. Continue to stay safe. Check out the other videos on the channel, the shorts and the full videos, and we look forward to seeing you in our next upload. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends and your family about under construction. See you next time. Bye. Look how you catch it on the video.
Wait, I'm going to turn it down.